our next part, which is game of the week. Could be game of the decade. Depends on who you ask. I mean, you want to say it was game of the decade, best game ever. I feel like this happens quite often. You almost kind of forget because we've been spoiled with a lot of great games. This reminded me of the SC Championship game between these two not too long ago with Tua hitting the touchdown pass, going into overtime. That was a phenomenal game. That went down as one of the greatest games of all time. When these two teams link up, there is just so much excitement. There's so much chess mastery going on. It's always going to be a good one. At the first half, I go, this is unbelievable. I was in awe. I was in complete shock of what was happening. I'm like, this Georgia's going to have to reset. I mean, they're in complete shambles. The second half of football, we saw the Georgia we expected to see the entire time. Carson Beck started dialing it up, 3 touchdowns. He looked more comfortable, except he threw a horrible play at the end there. I don't know what that was. The defense kind of figured it out, got it going. This war that we saw on Saturday night is not done. We could see it again in an SEC championship. We'll probably see it again in the playoff in some sort of fashion, which is going to be absolutely incredible on a neutral field. You got to think playing at Tuscaloosa was an absolute dogfight for the Dogs on Saturday, but no excuse. They should have walked in there and handled their business. DeBoer, my goodness, that guy walks into every fight and comes out uncut. You know what I mean? That guy is just smooth as butter, man. That guy is. They said he wins everywhere he goes, and by golly, he is winning everywhere he goes. Again, the play at the end there was a rookie mistake by Carson Beck throwing it to the corner. It felt like, hey, there's a freshman cornerback over there, wearing number 2, not named Ryan Williams. Let's see if we can just toss it up and get a pass interference. You had a full minute on the clock, 3 timeouts, and a back of horses in the running back room that were ready to run down their throats. I don't know why the call, but it is what it is. Maybe they'll learn from it. Ty, our sponsors, BetUS. This show is brought to you by, of course, BetUS. And when you use the code YouTube150 at BetUS.com, you get back 150% on your first 2 deposits, then 125 on your third deposit for the third deposit. So up to $2,000. So be sure to check out BetUS.com and use the code YouTube150. A lot of fun slate of games coming up over this week that are going to be fun to bet on. Honestly, at this point, whatever FSU is going against, just take the opposing team. Clemson's probably favored by 2 touchdowns if I had to guess. I haven't looked at it yet, but I imagine it's 17, 18 points.
17's got to be the number. I mean, that'd be my guess. 17. That's generous.
Also, shout out to Ty, to us. We were spot on with our picks with Illinois. They tried to get it close. The game was closer than what the score showed, but the 18 was disrespectful, even though they did win by 14. But we were spot on with that 14. Thoughts on that game, man?
I mean, we could spend a whole episode talking about everything that happened in that game. Honestly, somebody always said you can't get a great comeback story without having a deficit. We almost saw a great comeback story. I think it was 28-0 right out of the gate. And I was like, is Alabama this good? Is Georgia really that bad? Like after the Kentucky game? And then as I was watching the game, Georgia never, ever quit. And that's what makes a great football team. Even when they were down 28-0, I'm sitting there watching their guys, and they are just playing as hard as they ever have. Like, we're going to get back in this game. We're going to get back in this game. Carson Beck made some very terrible throws at the beginning, and then he came back, and he made me shut my mouth in the second half, I can tell you, because he was throwing some dots out there. But I think Kalen might be the best thing to happen to Jalen Milroe, because he is going to use him to his best strengths ever, and he showed it in that game with how he called that football game. I thought they had a great game plan, and Jalen was used in a strength where he didn't have to maybe go through his reads a lot. He could look on his first read, and they ran a fake read and then threw it to the back out of the backfield, but it was a one read. Linebacker was matched up against Jam Miller, I believe. He just threw it over the top of made a great play. He didn't have to do it. Think anything. He just saw it, threw it, perfect. Jalen Milroe was running all over the field and just running past everyone. He looked like the best player.
He was blazing speed, dude.
And then Ryan Williams, I'm telling you, that kid could play in the league right now at 17. He is unreal. That catch and then those moves he made at the end of that football game. I was in awe. My mouth was on the ground. I was like, who the hell is this kid?
He's got eye paint that says "kill everybody," and then he changed his Instagram profile picture to Michael Vick holding a little bulldog. I mean, the guy is a straight swag killer.
Savage.
I love every minute of it. And here's the thing though: if you're gonna lose a game, this was the game to lose. And if you remember going back to last year, there was a team that lost early, and that team was Alabama. It's so early, nobody's gonna remember this game as long as you get it done at the back end. In a weird way, this could be good for Georgia, could be good for Kirby Smart to really ruffle the feathers. I didn't think they needed it, right? But could be a dangerous recipe. I also think it really ignites Alabama in a weird way though, given the fact that they almost blew it and then just like that got it done and were able to make a big stop. I think they found a lot. Both teams found out a lot about themselves, which for the rest of the league should be going, oh shit, because no other team, Ohio State, Texas, Oregon, has faced what these two teams went up against each other. They basically played a championship preview on Saturday night, very early in the season. To get that test, you really found out who you are. In Georgia, to go on a road in one of the most hostile environments in college football at night at Tuscaloosa, you learned a lot. You learned a lot.
Let's not write off Texas yet. Wait for them because I still believe that team's really
No, I think they are. I'm just saying that there's an advantage of being able to have this underneath your belt because Georgia's going to roll into Texas with this already underneath their belt. With Texas hasn't really seen any of that yet. That's all that I'm saying. I'm not saying they're not good.
I get that.
But in a year when everything is marginally thin, these things are going to add up.
For sure. So I got two game of the weeks, and I'm gonna save you the second one. Give me 25 seconds for that because it was non-televised, but it was a game of the week, boy. All right, so I'm gonna tell you this: Uncle Lou, our boy Uncle Lou, has been screaming at the mountaintops about how sluggish and slow Georgia has looked in the first half of football games, and it's gonna bite him in the butt. It's gonna bite him in the butt, and Saturday, it bit him in the butt. I hope it's a realization. They've been slow and sluggish for the last 2 years. Now, I'm going to say this. Kirby is a king at second half adjustments. It was night and day. Alabama could do nothing in the second half minus a couple big plays when they need to make it. But what do we always say? Big-time players make big-time plays in big-time moments, right? And that's what Milroe did, and he definitely and Beck. I'm going to say both of them. Beck and Milroe definitely put their odds in for the Heisman race for sure.
I think Beck ruined it, but he didn't kill it. But he didn't kill it.
He put it
on life alert for sure.